Ultima Online is still playing and thriving in 2024. That's 27 years after its initial release. Let that sink in for a second. For a lot of us, it was our first MMORPG. Some even played the 9, I think? I don't know, tell me in the comments below different Ultima games created by Richard Gary. Personally, I remember stumbling around Pagan as a very young child, having absolutely no idea what I was doing, but there were swords and knights in it, so I was completely bought in. Then, when I found about Ultima Online, a chance to play with swords and pretend I was a knight with other people all around the world? Yeah, count me in. My father had purchased the game near its release, and I remember watching him play. He was roaming around outside of town and stopped to read the instruction booklet. Suddenly, another adventurer came from outside his house and murdered him. Of course, he thought he was breaking into his house. My father unknowingly kept resurrecting instantly, and the adventurer just kept on killing him. When the other adventurer realized he was a new player, he actually invited him into his house, and they ended up becoming friends. This actually led to my father meeting a group of friends that, by association, became my friends when I started playing. I can remember chopping wood just to sell to one of them. I never had a lot, but every time I got a couple thousand, I would ICQ message, that's right, ICQ message, this individual. I felt like I was about to be rich. I remember me and my best friend saving enough money to purchase a small tower. To me, that was it. I was one of the elite now. It was time to do what any other wealthy and experienced player such as myself would have done. Make a guild. I couldn't for the life of me tell you what the name of the guild was. I'm sure it was something along the lines of Holy Knights or Knights of something, or just, something basic and roleplayish. I even texted my friend to see if he remembered, but honestly, it seems as if our memory isn't quite as good as it was roughly 30 years ago. Through gameplay and recruiting, we met a guy named Tisnod, as we called him. He became mine and my best friend's closest friend, as well as our biggest rival. It was always a game of keeping up the Joneses with him. Until one day, he betrayed us. He dyed our rare black tie tub his signature red color. So I gathered up the entire 8 or 9 person guild via ICQ, and we were gonna march on his house and kill him. When we got there, we learned he had just bought a T1 modem and was much faster than we were with our dial-up modems. He decimated all of us, all by himself. The guild disbanded almost immediately. And you know what? I wouldn't have that memory play out any other way. Ultima Online is that game that the stories are just endless. Most of us have many stories to tell about this magical game, and I'd love to hear yours in the comments below. Honestly, I could make an entire YouTube channel just off Ultima Online gaming stories, both of my early years and my current years. Yeah, I said current years too. I've been playing Ultima Online off and on for the past, 27 years now? I often play other MMORPGs like World of Warcraft, Elder Scrolls Online, Guild Wars 2, you know the list. I really don't need to continue. I often want to make content over them, but no other game gives me that creative inspiration like Ultima Online does. I've been playing on a custom server called Outlands that each year grows in active population. Currently sitting around 3,000 players online at any given time and about to drop its second expansion. It's got the old school feeling to it from back in the old days of a great risk versus reward, but with a new school twist of player progression systems and vast differences in play style. You can check out my channel to see some of the different templates and play styles you can do, but to be honest with you, that only scratches the surface of it. Everything ranging in different skill templates to things called aspects that give you certain bonuses and mesh well with whatever it is you're trying to accomplish with your character. Books of power called codexes that further increase your power in certain player archetypes like swordsmen, bards, mages that can summon powerful elementals, or even masters of poison. And for the hardcore gamer, the long form of progression mastery chains that actually unlock with experience points gained from killing monsters or picking treasure chests in dungeons, allowing you to insert and take out links that increase different damage outputs or skills. Look, I know that was a mouthful, but did I mention I'm just scratching the surface? The developer team works tirelessly, orchestrating constant events and updates where you will never get bored of content because more is constantly released. Each holiday and season new events to change the game up, as well as purchasable clothes and house decorations. My favorite event is by far the King's Fair. It's an in-game Ren fair that introduced carnival games, drinking contests, a fashion show, as well as real-life money PvP tournament. The developers tend to be in Discord often, listening to the suggestions and feedback and adjust accordingly, as well as always looking for improvement in terms of beauty of the map, special effects, as well as sprites and character models. They recently took the basic UO game engine and have customized the client to their own, as well as rendering the old 2D models into 3D to allow the previously mentioned customizations. Another thing I find fascinating is the community. It seems every game you play now, asking a question results in you being called a noob or given the answer in a very smug manner. If you fail a mechanic or your character doesn't put out enough damage, you are once again called a noob or told to uninstall the game. Instead, here the community tends to be much more positive in that manner. It's almost as if players are at the edge of their seat waiting for new players to arrive and ask a question just so they can point them into the right direction by pointing out the section of the wiki that explains it or linking their favorite YouTube video. Yep, that's right. Or just a simple answer in Discord works too. But it's not all just templates, Dungeons and Dragons, and Wizards either. Outlands has attracted a large group of role players as well. Everything from knights who defend the virtues of old, the Ultima series, pathfinders who seek out murderers and deal out justice, vile drow who are always in dark cathedrals summoning evil creatures from the void, drunken highwaymen known as brigands who stop adventurers and demand payment to cross a bridge, as well as orcs who are always attempting to expand their reach and conquer more land in the Outlands. This community all bands together and creates a large campaign with roleplay ranging from political struggles to fierce player versus player battles that change the course of the story. What's great is the GMs of the server help to assist in these events with explosions if needed, or random particles, or just all kinds of weird things like that. There's even a tavern night in one of the player-ran towns known as Hailstone, where role players gather and have drinks and just banter on about their adventures and current events. I've spent quite a bit of time with these individuals, and it's an entire different subculture. Me being an inexperienced role player, I was pretty timid going to my first event, but to my surprise, I was welcomed with arms wide open and not felt to be inferior just because I wasn't on my these and thous or quick to think of some witty response. This is yet another great example of the amazing community that Outlands has conjured up. Listen, I dare not leave out housing when it comes to Ultima Online. All gamers want a place to call their own. The creators have devised a number of different houses and continue to come up with more models. They also constantly continue to develop more furniture and other decorations, some that are even animated that can be bought for your home as well. I've seen some really beautiful decorated houses on Outlands, and honestly, I'm kind of surprised no one has started a "we'll decorate your house for gold" business here yet. So if you're a new player and you're good at decorating houses, hey, here's your business idea. Just like in UO in the past, land is a limited resource, and one way that they've actually combated that is by introducing in-rooms. They come at a fraction of the cost with, ironically, more storage, which makes them overall a better deal until you're ready to step into something really large. These actually work out great for new players to Outlands. And I see quite a bit of veterans selling their houses for massive amounts of gold and just living out of an in-room. Words of caution though, as well as transparency. Outlands keeps the risk-averse reward concept that Ultima Online is known for. Being Felucia rule set that means players are free to attack and steal from each other at just about any given time. This gives you the looking over your shoulder and rush of adrenaline if you get something good where you may need to leave the dungeon to stow it away safely. But hey, fear not. If you get home from work and you just want to veg out and farm without worry, or perhaps you're a new player and you're just trying to learn the game, there's actually a weekly rotating region bonus that makes the dungeon free from thievery or PKs at the cost of reduced loot. I guess the question you came here with, and the reason you clicked on this video, is what has Ultima Online been up to all these years? There you have it. Aside from everything I've spoken about, the developers added tons of quality of life features that give you the ease of playing the game without the wild scripts that were necessary in the past. The next question you might be asking is, should you play? And the answer to that is, yeah. Whether you played UO in the past or never played UO at all, Outlands is a great place to start, as well as a community that will welcome you with arms wide open. I'm constantly seeing new players jump onto the Outlands Shard. People that, like I said, have never played Ultima Online before, and used to, that really blew my mind when I would see somebody that's never played Ultima and they were playing it now. I really never understood that. But now, with Outlands, I'm really seeing those tables kind of turn and lots of new players start to play here. I really think a lot of that has to do with the quality of life things that Outlands has brought to the table, as well as the wonderful community that Outlands has stowed up just and seemed to create and foster. Every year I do a video just like this over the Outlands server, and I gotta say, it's been really interesting to watch that population count just continue to increase year after year. To me, that says Outlands is doing something right. So, to Outlands, thank you for breaking a 27-year-old Wizard game, continue to grow, and create more memories like the one that I talked about at the beginning of this video. To everybody out there that's thinking about playing, I'll see you guys there.